Hey everyone, this is Sydney. Thanks for tuning in. During this presentation, we are going to talk about Grammarly. For those of you who don't know, Grammarly is a software company and it developed a digital writing tool using artificial intelligence and natural language processing. So it really helps in all areas when you're looking at writing pieces, essays, everywhere from businesses to education. I find this tool very interesting and I'm very excited to dive into what it is, how it's used, and share it with you guys. So, first, we're going to start off with a little bit of background and history on Grammarly. When it was developed, it was created to improve lives and improve communication. It was founded in 2009 by Max Litvin, Alex Shevchenko, and Dmitry Leiter. At first, it was just a subscription-based product, so the only way to have access to it was through different pricing tiers. So you would pay monthly, yearly, whatever really fit the user best. However, over the years, the founders identified the need for Grammarly in both a professional area as well as everyday use. So over the course of 10 years, the product evolved, the founders evolved, and a free version became available in 2015. That version ensured that everyone who needed to communicate in English had access to the essential writing support. So really they created this free version that could help everyone and anyone could use it for whether it was for business or education. So just to take a look at their growth chart to see how far they've come since 2009 and where they're at now, we can see that in 2009 it was founded and it had just a simple web editor. However, over the next few years, it integrated with Microsoft Office and created an add-in. And then from there, it created a browser extension. And then it created desktop apps for both Mac and PC computers. And eventually it went on to creating a mobile version. So then that brings us to 2019. However, as it exponentially grows, there's still room for it to improve even more. So now we'll talk a little bit about how Grammarly can be used. Two of the primary uses for Grammarly are business and education. Like I mentioned a little bit before, it originally was created to benefit those in the professional industry. And so when you're in a business environment, you could use Grammarly for proofing emails, social media posts, your website, just to make sure that your business is making a good impression on consumers or any traffic that is going through any of those three areas. It provides real-time suggestions to improve readability, word choice, writing style, and tone. So if your business is very focused on having the same tone across all platforms or social media, Grammarly can help with that. It also works well with various workflows, platforms, and devices, so your teams can continue to work together regardless of what device they're on. And this really just helps keep everything collaborative and everyone working seamlessly. The area that I'm most excited about is how Grammarly can be used in education. It can be used to provide writing assistance for all levels of education, whether you're elementary, ed, middle school, high school, college. You can find uses for it and it can be beneficial to you. Another area that it can be used, which I find fascinating, is Grammarly has a built-in plagiarism checker. So you can have your students submit or check their essay on Grammarly, and it's going to reference over 16 billion websites to catch plagiarism. So it really helps cut down on the possibility of a student trying to copy an essay. If they know they have to go through Grammarly, they're probably going to take the time to write it themselves. And lastly, it integrates with browsers and a wide variety of learning management systems to polish writing real time. So similar to how it's used in business settings, it provides real-time suggestions, word choices, helps with writing style and tone. So our next slide is the tutorial, but before we dive into a tutorial on Grammarly, I am going to walk you through how to set up your own Grammarly account. First, you're going to go to grammarly.com/signup, and you can start with your free account. Like I mentioned before, that is one of the greatest offerings that Grammarly came out with in 2015 is a free version. While there are paid versions available with a little bit of extra settings, you still get plenty of helpful tools with the free version. So I would recommend starting out with the free version, seeing where it takes you. If you want to upgrade, you totally have that option. So when you're setting up your free account, it's going to take you to a couple different screens. The first screen is entering in your email. So you're just going to enter in the email that you use most and click continue. Then it's going to ask you to create a password. Your password has to be at minimum 6 characters long. Once you've entered in your password, you can click that green arrow again to continue. Once you have your password, your next screen is going to ask for your name and have a sign up button. So you could put in your nickname, your full name, whatever you prefer, and click sign up. And just before your account is fully created, you have the option to customize it. I will say this is completely optional. You have a skip button at the bottom of your screen, and you could just completely bypass this. However, if you do want to fill it out, you can click drop downs number 5 and 6, and there's a word bank that you can choose from. I found that personalizing your Grammarly account is a little fun, so I went ahead and did it. Like I said, you don't have to. Once you click continue, your account is created. It will briefly take you to a pricing page. However, you can just click continue to continue with your free version. So now that your Grammarly account has been created, you can start writing. It will give you an option to walk through a demo. However, I'm going to walk you through that myself. So we're just going to dive right in as if you have a brand new account with Grammarly. So here I am, logged into my Grammarly account. You can see that I have account, apps, premium, and I can log out. We're going to start fresh with a brand new page. So one thing that I find really exciting about Grammarly is that you have the option to either type right in and type up your essay as you go and get suggestions, or you can simply copy and paste, whatever works better for you. You can see on the right-hand side of the screen that says there's nothing to check yet. However, once Grammarly does have feedback to provide, we're going to see it pop up right there. And that ties into this little assistant column on the far right, where it gives an overall score of your writing. You can enter in goals that suit you best. And it tallies up your alerts. So it tells you how many incorrect errors you have, how your clarity overall in your essay is, your engagement, if it's entertaining for readers, and then as your delivery. It helps make that impression with the reader. You also have the option to send it out to proofreaders. So if you want to share it, get a couple other eyes on it, you totally can. And then, like I mentioned before on a slide, we have that plagiarism checker here. And it's going to reference those 16 billion websites. And just before we dive into writing, clicking that button, it will open up additional options for you. My Grammarly, that will take you back to that very first screen that we were on before entering the workspace. You can create a new document. You can upload a file. You can download a file, print one, as well as edit or paste. So now that we did kind of a high-level overview of the settings, let's dive into writing and seeing what Grammarly can do for us. I have a little bit of a demo writing piece already in my clipboard, so I'm just going to paste it in. So here we go. We're just going to paste it right there. And you can see Grammarly is working on the right side to proof it right now for us. So first we're going to check in on underline. I can see that Grammarly pointed this out for me. And I'm going to go over here to get a little bit more of an explanation on what that is. I really like how it has a more option and you can expand it and it gives you a more detailed explanation on why that's incorrect and why there needs to be a different punctuation. So once I understand that, I can either delete, flag it, or simply click to remove the comma, and there, it edits it for me. Now I can move on to the next one. I see that my verbiage is a little off here, so to update that, all I have to do is simply click it and it updates it for me. Now let's dive into one of the blue lines, now that we know that the red means spelling and correctness. So here's a suggestion to shorten this phrase. So underlines that are blue might not need to be explained as much as it is, so Grammarly is suggesting to simplify it just by saying blue underlines. So if I click it, it'll update it for me right on the spot. And we can see as we scroll, there's more suggestions from Grammarly on my essay, but this is really just a way to give you an insight onto what Grammarly can do for you and for your classroom. I know personally, I can't wait to use this with my students. I hope that you learned something and you are inspired to use it yourself. If not, thanks for tuning in anyways, and have a great night. Thank you.